Okay, so for part 2 of the trailer build, I have the leaf springs finally done. I opted to go from the black to a galvanized spring just to kind of keep in look with the trailer, and got those all ready to go in. I bought some aluminum channel and used that to make my brackets. 2 different sizes. I'm not sure what the sizes are, but one size does fit into the other. So I mapped out the pieces, trial and error, and managed to make the brackets, mounting brackets for the leaf springs. So I've got that piece. I've got the little swing arm to go on the one end, and just a straight piece with one hole in it for the other end. So I just used my trusty pop rivets, and I used some leftover bars from what I clipped off of the original frame and just diced those up to make pins to lock it all together. Here's some of the pins here. So hopefully these little collars, which were a poppet rivet also, I diced those up, and they're just slightly smaller than the pins, so I'm going to press those on, and that'll help hold the whole assembly together. So here we have one end that is assembled with the pin and the little poppet rivets pressed on, and it doesn't look too bad yet. I still have to drill the holes, mounting holes on it. That's not a problem. I can swing the leaf spring out of the way to drill my holes. So that's coming together quite nicely. Basically assembled. This is what the other end is going to look like, with the swing arm to allow the spring to move. And I've got some aluminum L bracket type of stock, and that's what I'm going to mount my shocks to, and mount them directly on. I'm going to bolt these somehow onto my trailer. So here's a really quick view just to show you basically what the suspension's going to look like when it's assembled. The 2 brackets are on. This has the swing arm to allow for suspension movement, the movement in the spring when it flexes. So I just got to drill, like I said, the mounting holes and basically mount it up to this bracket, kind of like so. That gives you a general idea of what it's going to look like. So I have the little pieces of poppet rivet. This is just one of the little rails that I ended up cutting off that I didn't need. So I kept it, and I'm using that to make, as I said, these pins that go into the hinges, like so. So what I gotta do is take the pin and lock it into one of these little homemade plugs, whatever you want to call it. Not even sure what to call them. These little collars. Once you get it started, it should go on pretty easily. Come on. Get on there. And there we go. It's installed. So now I can put that through, put the other one on and hammer it into place, and that's how I ended up with this. May not be the prettiest, but it functions. That's what I was aiming for. Now, this little pin here, you'll notice there's no little collars on it. I drilled one hole on one side slightly smaller than the pin, and all the rest of the holes to accommodate the pin, so it slid through, and I forced it through the other side. Hopefully that'll be strong enough to hold it and keep everything in place. If not, I'll figure something else out. But for now, it seems to be pretty sturdy. And so basically here's what it's going to look like when it's all together. I got the axle on. I still have to trim down the locking collars on the axles. The screws are still a little bit longer than I would like. But all in all, it turned out pretty good. It's got the swing arm on there. All those little pins I put in seem to be holding up pretty good. Everything seems pretty tight. So now I have to drill the holes, mount these to the brackets, and then bolt it onto the frame, and the suspension is done.